this video is to just go through some of the ABCs of kind of chipping and pitching. And I suppose just to explain the differences between the two and what we would like to expect from the ball flight, and then some of the adjustments that we would need to make to our technique in order to successfully play these. So to give you an idea, the kind of definition I would have, or the difference between chipping and pitching, would really be that a chip shot will generally roll a lot more on the ground. It won't carry very far in the air. And then a pitch shot will tend to carry much further in the air and stop much quicker, have less roll. So effectively the main difference is the ratio between carry, or time in the air, and roll on the ground. So as I said, a chip shot is generally one that's going to land very close to us and roll most of the way. So to play this shot, really we want to use a lower lofted club. So I'd be thinking of a pitching wedge, a 9-iron, maybe even an 8-iron depending on the length of the chip and the speed of the greens. With that in mind, what we're trying to do is really keep our feet quite close together. So roughly speaking, we're talking around about a club head width apart. From there, I want to have the ball lined up beside my right toe. This will allow me to take a little bit of loft away from the club head and have my hands slightly forward. And from there, I'm going to make a fairly stable stroke with my shoulders without much wrist movement. Now, I don't need it to be too rigid or too stiff, but I don't want to feel like I've got a lot of hands involved in this. And to be honest, there's no real need to have a lot of hands involved because I'm only hitting the ball a very short distance in the air. So if I'm going for this flag down here, ball towards my right foot, hands a little forward, and you can see the kind of Y shape in my arms, and I kind of create that Y shape to give this a little bit of structure. And I'm basically going to move that Y shape and turn through the shot to kind of face the target. Now I do want to see a little heel lift as I come through. I want to turn my body towards it. I don't want to feel like I'm staying down and just using my arms. So let's give this a little try. Set my right foot, hands slightly forward, Y shape, nice and gentle. And you can see with that one, the club has stayed very low to the ground all the time. It hasn't lifted off the ground. I haven't made a big high swing. And the ball basically does the same thing. It never really lifts very high off the ground. Now, if I wanted to play a pitch, I'm going to change the loft of the club number one. So instead of using a pitch, an 9 or an 8-iron, I'm going to use something with a bit more angle to it. So I want to have maybe a sand wedge, a lob wedge. Sometimes you might see 56 or 60 written on the bottom. But I'm going to start with something that's got a bit more angle to the face. The ball position changes too. So obviously we don't want to take loft away. We want to use the loft we have. So instead of having it beside my right foot or my trail foot, I'm going to have the ball position much more centered, and I'm going to have my feet a little bit wider to allow some weight shift. From here, the shaft stays in the middle, the grip's in the middle, and I want to feel like I'm going to make a bigger turn with my body. Now with a pitch swing, we're allowed to use a little bit of hand. So I want to feel the hands are soft, and I want to feel like they can move. They can have a little bend to them both sides. So again, very, very simple. Ball in the middle. I'm going to make a slightly bigger turn and use a little bit of hands, and a bigger turn and use a little bit of hands. So this one will go a little bit further than the last one, maybe about 20 yards. So we go a little turn and turn. Very, very simple. So again, we've got a nice result there near the flag, and you can just see that bigger motion. We're not trying to hit it harder, we're just trying to make a slightly bigger turn and allow our hands to have a little bit of what I would call play, or a little bit of movement. It's a much less rigid swing, and we make a lot more of a turn with our body. So a little bit of a bigger swing, a little bit of a bigger swing. So again, one more time. Ball in the middle, a little bit wider with the stance. 1, 2. And I can create those nice high shots. So very simple. The difference between a chip and a pitch is really the ratio of flight time to roll time. And the main difference is essentially the positioning of the ball and the use of our hands. And of course, the length of the swing. And if you kind of nail those couple of key points, you should be in a good place to hit some nice shots.